Good morning. I am Daniel Rivero from Grupo Aras SRL. I am together with Antonio Corrado. And we're here to show you the recipe for this dish that we prepared for the people from Salta, which is to make georeference to mining. We come from Salta, the province that is in the north of Argentina. We're bordering 3 other countries, Paraguay, Bolivia, and Chile. Everything was born because there was a boom in the mining sector, the result of the fever for white gold, which is lithium, which is a main component that we use for making batteries for the electronic equipment that we usually use. This is extracted from salt. And 80% of salt farms in the field are located in this region. The largest one is in Bolivia, southwest from Bolivia, in the so-called Puna Salteña, in Jujuy and Argentina, and in the south west from Chile. Another important thing is that we were going to work for the Institute of Salta and Fraser Institute from Canada, which works in different areas related to mining and advises mining groups by providing annual indicators of the different mining farms in terms of security, policy, juridical, legal security. There's a lot of money involved in mining activities. So the Fraser Institute does that. It advises in an objective way. And Salta, as a first province in Argentina, is among the first 20 regions with legal security in state policies that are supporting this sector. First of all, let's talk about the ingredient for this plate, which is georeferencing with GeneXus plus map control and the API from Google. What is a mining cadastre? Well, it's the most similar thing to a real estate, urban or rural cadastre from a legal point of view and from an economic point of view. Land belongs to the state in the rural and real estate cadastre. Someone buys that, and then it belongs to that person or that company. And in the mining cadastre, what we do is to have an investment group that requests permission to explore an area that usually belongs to the state. Then it explores it, and if it finds a degree of concentration of a certain mineral that proves this feasible, then the state gives them the possibility of exploiting that mine by paying a commission, a fee. This is a mining property. Antonio will further tell you how we achieve this, why this has different colors and different icons. So it's good for you to see this in the video that Antonio will be showing. Our client in the province of Salta is organized into 2 main areas. One, all the juridical area, the court areas, dealing with different files, and this is within the framework of the mining law for Argentina and the mining code. And then there's another area, which is the cadastre area. That's a graphic part. And this court belongs to the judiciary, whereas the mining cadastre belongs to the executive power in the province of Salta. And here they wanted us to be able to show this cadastre graphically and to publish it in the webpage. So they wanted to show their cadastre to the world on the web so that everyone knows what area is available and what area is not available, and that speaks volumes of the legal security of a certain company within a certain jurisdiction. So for that, we researched on several tools in order to achieve integration with GIS, with CAD or with the API from Google Maps. After some assessments, we decided, in terms of the mining courts, which was about the administrative issues dealing with the different files, etc. We decided to work with patterns, and in terms of georeferencing, we used the new type of geolocalization data, and we used the map control from Javier La Rosa. We used the Google API. Well, Antonio will now tell you more. So, in the challenge of the two parts of the system, the part of the administrative management, which was defined with the work with patterns, and then the area for the geographical area, the polygon pictures, we set the challenge as such. We decided that we were going to use GeneXus for both things, and we created a product called SearchGem, which is a comprehensive system for mining management and registry. So, what were the data that we found in terms of all the polygons? The mining secretariat and the cadastre office already had a data repository based on AutoCAD data. They were drawing manually all those polygons, and the first challenge we found was how to incorporate that mass of AutoCAD files, which also has the complexity of having flat coordinates, and we needed geodesic coordinates. So we had to somehow convert those type of data. And we developed an importing module where the user, through a text file, well, the first part deals with establishing the parameters for the different polygons, the way in which we will identify each type of mining property with their own icons, colors, the background color, the filling color, borders, the edges. We've used other controls from Marketplace. In this way, that family of polygons sorted out by characteristic gave us, as a result, some tables where we not only were able to locate or report on everything related to lines, polygons, and dots, but also additional information such as airports, landing strips, roads, roads. And this is the type of data that we found. So the user, by having AutoCAD, would export in TXT files, and we had to convert that on fly in order to find the geodesic coordinates that implicitly give Earth coverage. In such a way, the user, through a simple process, these are models for the TXT files that we have from AutoCAD. So the user incorporates that TXT file to the database, it identifies it, and defines it with some sort of family it can associate to a certain type of file. And when the TXT file is uploaded to the database, it can also be viewed whether it was correctly uploaded. We can see it over there, and in the importing process to the database, right then a conversion is generated from coordinates to geodesic coordinates. And there's also a report on the massive or individual import. that was done on a certain number of dots per polygon. If there was a mistake, an error, the process could be regenerated. So in this way, we have our polygons in the database, which also can be manually loaded. And through a grid, here we have a classical pattern. And through a grid, we can view this either individually by sorting out by file, number of polygon, the belongings associated to that polygon in the map, using all the features provided by Google Maps, such as height limits, different satellite views, or field views, and to link them just by clicking on the polygon and linking this to the administrative management of files. If we sort this view into a mega repository of all the polygons, each polygon being within a mining property, we obtain the so-called theme map, which is what we've published on our web, in the web of mineriasalta.gov.ar. This product allows to arbitrarily and randomly turn on or off certain types of polygons, measurements, registered mines, and in that way we can continue using the features of Google Maps, which is a user-friendly interface which is very well known by users in order to research on some areas, to implement icons, which by being sorted out through some uniform pictorial criterion can allow us to easily identify what this is about. We can navigate with several layers of depth. We can do several searches. Each type of polygon that you see over there in the georeferenced area is precisely the Puna region that Ariel mentioned before. You can see some data that are published there, and from the cadastre sector, besides from seeing this scheme of clicking on the icon and being able to view information, you can also access administrative aspects in order to take a look at the maturity of commission fees and payment of other administrative aspects that cannot be seen on the web page. On top of that, when authorities starting to see the features of these type of polygon layers and turning it on and off, and the potential in terms of the mining supply of the government vis-a-vis the international world, we were asked to monitor the site, and all we did was to use the component of Google Analytics, which is already incorporated in the IDE of Evolution 2. We didn't have to use any internal tools. This was very easily implemented. It provides us very powerful information, such as the user flow, location of those users, where they are accessing the site from, the technology used for this. Here we have, well, some type of browsers, all of them with statistics by month, day, year, and even some device models that users used in order to access the site. In terms of the inertia of the use of these geographic components within the scheme within the system, offers users new demands. As we saw previously in the presentation by Javier, some of them are already have made a lot of progress, but among them we had the calculation of surfaces, measuring distances, and others, plus detecting overlappings, which is very important for these people because of the litigations that some cadasters are facing. Then we have exporting to KML, plus other features regarding using the Google API, such as points of interesting, hotels, airports, which is something that we can show on demand by using some type of control. So far, you have shared with us what we call georeferencing with GeneXus, and this is an ingredient within the main course, which was CIRGEM for the province of Salta. So we came up with the idea of trying to use georeferencing in other applications, in other solutions, to do an effort and to see what could be done to provide added value to other solutions. So georeferencing was no longer an ingredient, but some sort of spice that we would add to other dishes. And maybe, Antonio, would you like to show some examples? We have some videos. So we were trying to incorporate more and more geographic information in all the systems that we developed, because we realized that this was information where data are seen differently based on that geographic information. So we have an example of the project for making decisions from a political nature. And in some cabinet meeting, you can see that at a neighborhood level, almost cadastral level, how families have been benefited by some sort of plan, which allows us to create at other levels, for example, neighborhood maps. And these neighborhood maps, through a temperature or color algorithm, give you a sampling of the regions that were unattended in terms of community access, or on the other hand, the cases where there is an excess of services being provided. So the polygon has other tools for decision-making purposes. If you zoom in even more, if we go to a neighborhood level or to a municipal level, we can see that you can also develop even more by multiplying this. Finally, there's a survey or a polling application that allows always, whether it is oriented to politics or to marketing, you can see where the poll took place through the use of mobile applications, where you go through the different neighborhoods and you make different types of polls. And in the back office of the people who are doing the survey, you can see you can even sort it out through age groups, socio-economic level, etc. So let's now go on to the final part and try to sum up and give you some idea based on our experience, either as ingredient or as some sort of spicing. As we saw with Antonio, in the case of the spices, clients are not used to using this type of report, because this is a type of report. It's not the same for a cabinet that's deciding something at a municipal or province level. It's not the same to see a theme map or seeing something macro than having to see an Excel spreadsheet. We also have dynamic tables, but this was much better because the client was surprised and then began to ask for new things. So they realized that there's another way of showing information, and they started asking, can you give us this or that? So it's a good thing to try to force this and show the client something, and the client will start to request new features or new things at a report level. Even in our own case, when we were hired for the development of the CIRGEM application, the competition offered solutions in two separate parts with two different tools. So I think that was a good thing when they decided to hire us, because we had everything integrated into one solution in terms of the administrative and the geographical areas at a cost level. Also, the license of a GIS, in the case that Antonio mentioned, the client needed to have additional licenses in the case of what the competition offered. But what we offered was an advantage because we used georeferencing. We also had some experience in terms of the elements that we added, and you're always competing with other solutions, and what we offered was not offered by the competition. We had come up with solutions from markets, different markets. So we tried to have a sort of web service with a solution. We tried to access data, obtain reports. We imported information to our own report, and we offered to set up a whole georeferencing layer to show something else. This was a good idea because maybe the client was not able to do that. He had constraints in terms of that. Maybe the client didn't have a web system. He only had a system that worked locally. So he prepared a TXT, and based on that, we set up a georeferencing interface so that the client could use other things. Yes, in terms of the mobile environment, we are used to seeing data such as georeferencing, geopositioning, which is something that's sort of implicit in that type of platform. In the web sphere, the good thing is that with these type of solutions, in GeneXus, this is being incorporated, this cherry on top of the icing. This can add a module for referencing of what is being done in the system through a very simple step. So thank you for having shared this presentation with us. We thank you for having waited for this, and we want to thank GeneXus for allowing us this opportunity to show what we're doing. If you have any question or if you want to share any type of experience with us, you can reach us through the email. Thank you very much.